Well, Andrew, it's a pleasure to have you on the show, mate. How are you?
I'm excellent, Dan. And how are you?
Very
Early in the
well,
morning in
dude.
Bilben.
Yeah, how do you feel this week with a certain release?
Excited, excited. I don't know. I was going to do Australian, and I slipped into Scottish there. I was like, excited. I'm fucking excited. Um,
uh,
it's just exciting. It's really it's fun when you're a part of something that has such a enthusiastic following. And
yeah,
specifically for those fans of Johnny, and it's just I take a lot of pride in what I do and sort of making sure that he delivers, as he should. So, and I know like this is like really I think this is probably the best Mortal Kombat they've ever made. So, in the beginning of a new era. So, yeah, it's super cool. It's super cool. I'm psyched. I'm psyched.
I have to say, man, I think this is the definitive version. It's all come together in this game. Why do you think it came together? You might not agree, but I feel like everything with your performance and the characters sort of just came together. What was it?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it was, I think there was because I spent like almost 10 years with this character, since MKX, which, again, we start recording like 2 years, 2.5, 3 years before they come out. So,
Yeah.
I was super jazzed to be invited back. And once Dominic, kind of told me what they were doing with the story, and how they were just sort of rebooting it and all these other cool things that, you're going to be able to do in the game.
Mm.
I was just like, because I don't know that until like, he'll usually send me the script maybe
Probably thought
three
it
or
was
4 days.
MK12. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we all thought
Yeah.
it was on people. I was like, no, it's going to be one, and I was like, oh wow, cool. And so then it was just sort
Yeah.
of that fun exploration of like, who is Johnny, in this sort of timeline in this universe, and being able to sort of keep those pieces of his DNA while adding nuances, and so that he could have, a certain place to go. And it was just fun. It was also, every time I play Johnny, it's kind of like, hanging out with an old friend. So it was a good time. It was a good time, and I think there was a bigger space between 11 and 1 because they had made this decision to sort of reboot and restart the world. And it's something that you don't take lightly. I mean, Ed and everybody involved, like, that's a big deal when you sort of start from scratch again, because how do you like still honor everything that's been before but still sort of rebuild it into something new. So it's ballsy, and I think they took their time with it. They really took their time to make sure that they got it right. And so as we've gone along, and just even the characters and the DLCs and stuff that are coming up, I was like, oh, it was so freaking rad. Some of the people that we got, we were like,
Dude,
whoa. So it's
Homelander,
kind of cool. Like,
Cena, I can't wait for them,
oh
man.
my
Are you
god,
against
oh my
them?
god,
I
yeah, yeah,
cannot wait, man.
yeah. Yeah,
Man.
it's great because every time they bring in one of those characters, for me, it's always like I always think about, oh God, it's gonna be fun what Johnny's gonna say to these guys, because there's a part of him that's like full fandom on these guys, and
Yeah.
then there's the other part that's sort of just he has to knock them down a notch because that's just what that's how he moves. So
Yeah.
thinking about the way where we're gonna dig on each other is really fun. And so
Yeah.
yeah, they had like just cool characters. I was dying. I was I wish that with the Homelander I could have just come out on one of them with like a shirt that said "Got Milk" on it. That would have been awesome. That didn't get cleared.
Did you try and pitch that?
Oh yeah, of course. Of course. You're never going to get something like that, but that's okay.
Yeah, I was wondering how much input you had in those. Because do you work with Dom, and does Ed Boon get involved in that, or who's involved in that?
Ed's more involved. He's sort of like he's always like he's not there in the
Overarching.
sessions. Yeah, he's the
Yeah.
overarching sort of.
Yeah.
He's overseeing everything. So the person in the room with me is Dom. Like it's usually just Dom and I.
What a
And
legend.
he's awesome. He's awesome. And I knew him years ago, like even before this ever came along. We were friends back in the day. I mean, I think we went to our first Sundance together in like 1998.
Oh, wow.
So we already had like some history, but Dom's just so good, that we just I don't know, we just found this cool pocket, this cool rhythm that we just get into every single time. and it's genuinely fun. And and because he knows that I'm the comedy guy, and I'm always improving and doing stuff like that, he's always been open to that and allowed me the freedom to just sort of try shit. And a lot of that ends up making it into the game because I'll throw something out, or when we do a line and like you see him turn his head down, or Dutch, everybody trying not to laugh. You're like, all right, we got it, cool, moving on. Yeah, it's really fun, and I think for me too, like Johnny's just one of those characters that I kind of adore him. I just love playing him.
Oh,
it's just so much fun, and like I feel like there's this part of my DNA that's sort of that Johnny lives in.
Yeah. You're starting to be more connected than you once thought.
Right. Yeah. But it never comes out in I think in the real world. But I don't know. I think from the get-go, I just sort of, I don't know how, but I sort of got Johnny. Like I got where his mindset was, and like I'm like, okay, I know this guy. Like I know where he's coming from. And then it was just sort of it's just been fun.
Do you feel like you were born to play this character? Because that's the comment I see a lot. Andrew is Johnny Cage.
Well, I don't know. I mean, born to play something. I think ultimately come down to like, I think I'm just lucky I got booked. But I definitely I think there's definitely been a level of synergy with him that I've never really had with any other characters. I mean, I shouldn't say that. Like, it's very different when you're doing on camera and off camera. But I don't know if it's destiny, but I'm certainly happy that I've gotten the chance to spend this much time with him so far. That's really cool. And to sort of just be at a point now where, as you said, with the fans, like there's this really, and I said this before, like there's just this love for Johnny that just exists. Like if you say Johnny Cage, like instantly somebody smiles. And, for me, that's the greatest compliment because, my whole purpose here, on life is to, entertain people and give them a good time. And to be able to use that character as sort of a vessel to give that to people, it's just, it's awesome. And I'm super, super grateful for it.
Going back to the intros, whose idea was it to say, what would you say to a little slap and tickle? I think Johnny says that to Melina.
You know what? The sessions are so fast. Like we do so much, so long. I mean, like everything is, almost everything is written down. And, we try stuff. Funny. Like sometimes we'll do stuff that's just, I think we both agree is ridiculously funny, but maybe a little too R-rated to drop into the game. Which is why I always said that it'd be great if someday we could have like maybe like a mini offshoot game that's like
okay, yeah,
maybe like called like Cage Con or something. And it's just where we could just let the reins off with them and just like full R-rated, just like going for the
come on,
the
Ed,
jugular,
we need the spin-off
and just come on, Ed, and because just so that we could. I would love to be able to give you the audience one like just something that you could have in your arsenal of games to play that you go, all right, I'm gonna pop this one in because I know I'll be pissing my pants laughing and having a really good time for the next 4 hours. That's awesome. That would be awesome.
Yeah, Cage Con. You could have him shooting a film. There's a lot you could do with it, isn't there?
Well, yeah, and I think also because I think with MK1, they've sort of introduced sort of I'd say sort of kind of the multiverse of the MK world because they've there's
a few different versions, isn't there, of Johnny?
There's quite a few. Yeah, and I think that just not only does it open up just such a great bay of storytelling ideas. But it's a great way to be able to honor everybody who's come before and all those different sides of it. Because I think I think that's cool that there's so many, once you've opened up that multiverse, it's like there's so many, it's endless. And for me, like there's some Johnnies that are just like, and I'm not even a spoiler, but there's Johnnies that are coming that people haven't seen that are like, there's one that's like, oh my God, it was the bomb. Like so cool to see, these different iterations of them. So, I think that it was a really great, and really, really smart move too on Ed and the writer's parts to reboot without, doing the middle finger to
Yeah.
everything that's come before, because you shouldn't. I think that it's they all have their place. I mean, I played Mortal Kombat the first time at an arcade, putting a quarter in. So a lot of legacy in this
Oh, you're
franchise.
that old, Andrew? No,
Yeah, I'm not old.
I'm
Yeah.
kidding.
Oh, I'm
I'm
old as dirt. I'm old as dirt. I got
No.
that youth serum that I just pump into my veins every day. No,
I feel like
honestly, it's
my first one was Shaolin Monks. Is that what it's called? I don't know
I
what
think
it was
so.
on. Yeah, I think that must have been nearly 20 years ago.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy when you think about how long it's been
Yeah.
around, and that's why I think this game is also sort of like has become the most. I think like the definitive Mortal Kombat, because they've honored all of that while creating something new. I think that's the right balance. I think if
Right.
you can honor what's come before and bring people a new kind of story, that's the great way. That's the greatest way to do it. And again, I say this before, like the cats at NetherRealm Studios, like the artists and the text guys, they're so good. And I feel too like I know like every once in a while, like people will come on when we're doing sessions that are doing the animatics and stuff like that, just to sort of see like what kind of space we have to do stuff. And they're always just so jazzed. They're like, oh, I'm here here in the room with Johnny, which I think is just so cool.
That's
So,
awesome.
and that I think that you see that in this game, that I think there's some genuine love for this character. And I feel like the guys at NetherRealm just take their time and just add that little extra sprinkle of magic on them every time. And it's very
Well,
cool.
they're
Very
leading
cool.
not only are they leading the genre of fighting games, I feel like they are the best in the world at that style of game, but just in general in games, like the graphical quality of this game is insane. Like it's
It's insane.
really impressive.
It's really fucking good. And and I
Mm.
remember that like every time that they've got some early animatics up, Dominic's always, when I go into session, he's like, oh, hey, I want to show you a little previs that we did on it. And I remember when we were doing 11, they'd show me like one of the fatalities, and they had added this sheen, little shimmer
To
on
the
the
blood?
blood that
Yeah.
just was like, I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god, that's so great. And of course, like they just, I mean, ultimately, those fatalities are literally the most brutally violent things in the entire universe. Like they're just awful. So they're also incredibly talented and insanely twisted. Um,
But so is
but
Johnny in many
yeah,
ways.
yeah, in many ways, yeah, yeah. They have fun. They have fun, and you can see it for sure. And again, like that's it too. Like I think like they're always pushing the technology as well there. So you know, um, you know, to a degree, I think they're at a forefront in it, especially with this game. That they're just pushing stuff and doing cool things, and because they don't want to be the same. They don't want to just don't want to keep regurgitating the same thing every time. The exciting part is if you have a good franchise is to you know keep on leveling it up. And that's what I really think they did with this one too. It's just leveling it up.
And even going back to 11, I couldn't believe the graphical difference from 11 to this one. And that was only in 2019.
Yeah, I know. And I think like, whatever the next one will be, I think you'll see another jump as well, So
Isn't it crazy?
yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's cool, but it's that's it makes the gaming experience just that much better every time.
So how did you feel with the rebooting? Because they could have easily found a new actor or something for this new version, right? But
Easily,
not easily. Not
I don't think
easily.
easily.
I'm
No.
easily, I mean,
Yeah,
everyone would
yeah, I know what you're
want
saying.
the
No,
role.
I'm just joking. I'm
Yeah.
just joking. Yeah, no, they could have. So that was it was a real honor to have them ask me to come back, for a third time. So there was sort of like definitely a sort of just a sense of gratitude. You don't really know, and it's I think like that was sort of their way of saying like they appreciated what I've done and I add something to it. So I'm worth having around. Yeah, they could have. But I think like that's the thing too. Is I think when you're rebooting and you're sort of doing a whole storyline, I think if you push too far away from where that baseline is, you run the risk of alienating people. And so having some sense of familiarity with the characters, I think was important. So I think that might have had something that went into their decision to have me come back, was so that, you know, that familiarity would be there. And again, I think like it's just that his sense of humor and his sense of comedy is just so you know, it's second nature at this point. So no matter where he is or how he sounds, like you're still going to get the heartbeat of who Johnny is, no matter how he's reincarnated, so to speak.
Did you have that comedic timing from the day you did the character?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You know, comedy has sort of been a mainstay in my life since I started in this, like sort of as an actor. I just love comedy, and I've always just had a sense for it. I mean, it's my favorite thing in the world is making somebody laugh. Like there's nothing better in the world for me to do. So I think I've just done a lot of it, and you know, had the opportunity to you know, fine tune it, and you know, I think I'm lucky that I have a sense of timing and stuff like that. So, you know, I don't want to say it's easy because comedy.
No,
isn't
it's
easy.
not easy. That's the thing.
It's not.
No.
Which I think it's, you know, I think it's important to you know, I don't think timing or sort of comedy is something that, yeah, I don't think everybody can do it, even though they may try. Which I've always said, like, you know, I think some of the greatest actors out there, you know, the Michael Keatons and the Kevin Klines, and their comedy is unbelievable. It's off the charts, you know, and then you drop them into drama and you're like, what? Because I think, like, for me, you know, if I said to you, like, if I asked you to go into a room and make everybody feel like you were pissed, you could do that.
Yeah.
If I told you go into a room and have everybody believe that you're sad, you could do that. And then if I said, now go into a room and make everybody laugh for 5 minutes.
Exactly.
It's a whole different ballgame. So, you know, but I don't know. I think I've sort of been, I just don't, I don't care, like, how it comes across.
You don't take yourself too serious.
I don't take myself too seriously. No. And you know, and I think to do good comedy, you can't take yourself too seriously. You got to be willing to make a total ass of yourself, because if you don't, it's not going to be funny. I mean, like Will Ferrell is a great example. Like he just shirtless with like tighty whities. Like, who does that? Will, because he's like, that'll be funny, and I don't give a shit. You know, if it's going to work for the comedy, it's going to work for the comedy.
Well, even some, you know, people like Steve Carell, when he started doing more dramatic roles, people saw how incredible of an actor he is. And a lot of these guys, even Adam Sandler, you know, with Uncut Gems, these sort of actors are really good actors as well.
Well, yeah, because I mean, like, I know for me, like, what I enjoy about drama is, I don't know, I just feel like it's less pressure. It's a little bit easier, you know, because you don't have to worry about finding that top. But I think if you have that sort of that comedy DNA and that comedy background, it's gonna leak out anyways. I think in a way that's gonna make the performance better regardless. So I don't know where it came from. Well, possibly. I mean, I was short and fat in high school, in junior high. I was like 5'6", like 185 pounds. Like, I'm big. And I remember, I think it was in like 7th grade or something. I didn't want people to laugh at me for my weight. So I decided to make them laugh, just in general, so they wouldn't laugh at me. They were laughing with me. Yeah. And so that's what turned me into the class clown. And it started early, and it seemed to work. So I'm like, I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to stick with that. Be an idiot. Be a dork. That's me. I'll accept it.
So for Johnny in this game, how did you approach him differently from the other times you've taken him on? What was the big sticking point for you, if there was one?
There wasn't a sticking point. It was more of, you know, I think Johnny's always, you know, he's very proud of his chip. He's like, anybody from Boston? I'm from fucking Boston. That's right. You know, the way up here. And finding what level of sarcasticness and cynicism and stuff like this one carries, because he had a different, you know, he had a sort of a different journey getting to where he is. And so for us, it was very much about how do we differentiate him from the other Johnnies while still keeping keeping a familiarity to the character. And it was really like, sort of a matter of, sometimes I would improv something or do a take, and Don would be like, funny, good, but he's not quite that, not quite that oh, okay. So like rolling things back a bit. And it's really sort of an honor, because it's not that often that you get to reboot a character that you've been a part of. So for me, it was just such an exciting, it was a cool challenge, because it was sort of like, because I got a chance in 11 to be a younger version of Johnny, so that I could have them, go toe to toe in this universe that they did in the last one, which cool. It was so
that must have been
those
fun,
scenes
man.
are some of the favorite shit I've ever seen, because it was so fun to be able to be the older Johnny, being like, oh my God, I was just awful. I know I was, but now I have to deal with this shit. Like, he was just like, I was like, can you give me anybody else in the world that I can do this with, other than the younger version of me? Like, I'm begging you. So, to be able to like sort of shift from the younger to the older, and finding that sort of,
Do you think you used a bit of the younger version in this game? No,
I think he's right in the middle in this one.
Okay.
I think he's not the age Johnny that's been through it all, and has superpowers, and he's not the younger one who's just an asshole and annoying, and so I think he's somewhere in the middle in this one. So because again, he is a movie star, and he has done really well, and but he wants to do more. He wants to advance. He wants to push his creativity, and this is his first time ever being a part of this insane universe that he's never seen. And so it was more about letting the situations and letting the scenes and the story affect him more than coming in with a certain point of view, which he still has. Because I always said, I think Johnny is always going to be the audience, in Mortal Kombat, in a weird way, because like, it's so big and there's such giant stakes, and it's so violent that you need something to just sort of, allow you to giggle. It helps balance the equilibrium, so definitely. You can play. And I think like that's what Johnny is. And for me, he was always, he always was the audience, because he can make a comment that nobody else can, because it is him, and that sort of like, he's not going to think that he's tripping balls or anything else like that. He knows it's real, but it's great that he can just be like, wow, you're like an alien, or you're a vampire. And like, that's, wow. I didn't expect to see that. Hot too. I know you can kill me, but like, that's all right. Let's see where this goes. So I think like it was allowing, I was allowing myself to just be affected a little bit more by the environment and by the characters. And that sort of helped to sort of mold him into a unique version.
And what's he shooting at the moment, Andrew? He's shooting Ninja Priest 3, is he?
I couldn't tell you. He's done so many, like there's so many references to movies he's done.
There was heaps of, there was even Train to Busan, and there was Aliens, Toy Story. Yeah.
And that's the other thing too, why I think like it would be so cool to have a Cage-Com game. Or you could see all these different movies and like take that from it. And I don't know. I think it would be fun. But I don't know. He's shooting. I know at the beginning and it was really cool too. Like that was the first thing we did, was the opening sequence where that's the
Indiana
nod
Jones
to Indiana Jones.
Yeah, man, that's sick.
And it was really fun. It was fun
so
too, because you could tell too. Like I love, like, for the people that are watching, the audiences, you could still differentiate that he was acting, and like, oh, this must be a scene.
I know, isn't that?
He's really pushing it. So like, those are the kind of things that we really tried to do, so that it wasn't, you can go, yeah, he actually really does this. He's actually good at it. He just happens to also be, a kung fu badass. That's a little the added piece to it. But I think like that's it too, because like he's done all these action things and this, that, and the other, and that he wants to, branch out and be taken seriously. There's more to his creativity than he's given the opportunity to do yet. So I think he's definitely intrigued by the idea that, this is going to change everything and change my life. Oh, okay, this is something creative. Like, how can I use my skills to make that happen? So
And you got Steven, the director. That was a cool little nod too.
Yeah.
There's so
Yeah,
many.
I don't know.
Ripley.
I don't think we got. I don't think. But that's what I mean. Like Dom and I are both like Gen Xers, so like,
Yeah.
I think it's impossible for us to have a collaboration that you're not going to have nods to just some of the greats out there. And it's always fun when he gets them, because like even the one that we did the throwback to Khan from Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan.
Oh yeah.
Which people were like, "What is he doing?" Because they thought I was like making fun of the person, but it's actually like, no, bring it back. So like those are all over the place. Those are a constant, and they're always fun when they come up, because I'm like, yeah, because like he'll like go, "Oh, this is." I'm like, yeah, I know, I totally know what it is, but we'll like maybe go back and look at a clip just so I can find the tonality for it, and then deliver it so it's like really off the top of the head. But yeah, no, because you want to be able to have a story that sort of that people from all generations can identify with and have some fun is, even if we do nods that people don't know about. I mean, like, I'm sorry, we did the aliens nod. If that means that, like, 10 million people are going to watch Aliens and they've never seen it before, dude, my work here is done. Like, you're welcome for now seeing one of the greatest movies ever and like going, oh wow, like that's really good. Yeah.
I was telling you all this off air. I think Alien's the better film, mate.
Well, you can't compare them, but that's the thing. I don't think you can compare.
Yeah, they're different. One's more suspenseful, one's action.
Yeah, one of them is definitely true horror, and the other one is it's more of an action movie. That I wouldn't say one is better than the other. They'd all be on the list of like greatest. But I think for me at the time, there's something about the Aliens film and with the colonial marines, and there's just so many cool elements that Cameron did with it, being given that kind of a franchise to work with. I just love that he came in and he said, I'm just not going to do what's been done before. I want to try something different, and committing to that and succeeding so exceptionally with it.
Great movie. Don't get me wrong. Yeah.
And so, but again, like if you look at Ridley Scott and James Cameron, neither of them are ever going to make a movie that's similar to each other. Like they're such completely different auteurs. Like they just are. So, I think like you got to put them in different boxes, even though they're playing with that same sort of through line. But
are you a Blade Runner guy?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm such a Blade Runner guy that I kind of miss the voiceover that the studio made him do in the first one. There's a version that most people can't see it anymore. Yeah. Ridley's made sure that it was not. I think he was very he was very against it. So I know Ridley love you. I love all the other versions too. I just kind of love the voiceover version as well. But but that was again one of those things where it was just I love when people push like sort of sci-fi and creative. I think because sci-fi is just it's kind of like an open universe, like there's no limits to what you can do with it. It's also really easy to do shitty sci-fi, super easy. Doing good sci-fi is hard. And I think like him being able to take a vision like that and see it and commit to it it created, there was just like a feel to that movie. It was less than it being like a great movie or not, but there was a feel to it. And like, I don't even know what Blade Runners were or some of that more,
there's an atmosphere, isn't there?
There's an atmosphere to it. Yeah. So that's what you get. And that's also why I think I enjoyed 2049, aside from, again, it's Denis Villeneuve making a movie, and I think he's
a genius.
He's a genius. He is unbelievable. At this point right now, he's
hasn't made a bad film.
No, he hasn't. But he's also like, not only has he not made a bad film, he's just so grounded in his storytelling and still being so collaborative, like, but still like totally understanding how to tell the stories he's done. I mean, again, like you talk about a feel. When I saw Sicario, it's the first time I think I've been in I think that's the first time I've ever been in a theater where I was like genuinely like looking behind me, because it was offsetting. Just there was this impending sense of doom that he created. And I was like, wow, that's fucking hard. And that's talent right there to be able to do that. And then to be given the reins of Blade Runner, I think he did an exceptional job with it. And then on top of all that, like his favorite book ever was Dune. And so you're talking about like, and whoever's in charge at Warner Brothers who offered it to, you know, to do Dune with Denny is brilliant. Because like you take somebody who's at the top of their game and give them the movie they've always wanted to make. Like there's no way it wasn't going to be incredibly cool and incredibly immersive, which it was. So yeah, so again, like he's, you know, again, like it's auteurs. You know, you can't put, you know, Denny and Ridley and Cameron, they're never going to make the same movie. They're all going to make something different. But each of them, I think, in a weird way, also still honors, you know, sort of some of the staples that each of them did. Because, you know, I think that's how you learn as filmmakers. Is we all learn, like anybody who's creative. You watch other people, you watch other people's stuff, and you get inspired and you go, oh, wow, that's cool. I didn't think of that. And I think that's what allows you to sort of make cool choices and you know, try to make things that people haven't seen yet. So
speaking of movie stars, I guess, auteurs, your Nick Cage impression is probably the best I've ever heard, man. It's so good. Come on, we need to hear it. Look, wait until you hear this, guys. You'll close your eyes, you'll think he's in the room.
Dan, I'm really happy that you invited me to come on to your podcast thing. I don't know, you know, it's sharing stories with people, but I'm really happy to be here. And you know, I think you rock, and I wish I was in Australia right now.
Even the facial expressions. I didn't know you do the facial to go along with it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Like it was. I think when I think I got him watching Face Off. Because I get different, I you know, I could do impersonations of people, but I kind of like, for me, when I could see an actor doing an extreme version of something, that's the best way for me to be able to do an impression of them, because I can go, oh, what is that extremeness, and it's just, he's just so great in that. Like he's so over the top, but like it doesn't matter, like it just works, and the stuff just, you know, coming in and just and the smells, and it's all there. It's all there. You know what I'm saying? It's there. Always fun. Exhausting.
I was gonna say,
doing Nick, and I just like, it's like full of sweat, and you know, need a cocktail after I'm done. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
You need to bring that into some sort of character in the future, man.
Yeah, that would be fun. That'd be fun.
Another one I know you can do, because you were Neo in the game, right? For Keanu.
I was. No? No. That's right. I was thinking of a different game. Yeah, I was. I did Keanu for Neo, so that was cool. You know, that's another one where Point Break. Point Break is how I got
guilty
Keanu,
pleasure.
Because you know, I don't think you can even call it a guilty pleasure anymore.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Everybody I talked to is like, oh, that's a great movie. It really is. It's a great fucking movie. Produced by James Cameron, directed by Catherine Bigelow. I mean, like, you can't, it's a great movie. And it's one of those movies that you can just watch. You can watch it a million times and it never gets boring.
I'm pretty sure one of the last scenes was shot in Melbourne.
Yeah.
On the beach there.
Yeah, because I wanted to get, So, which I thought was really cool too, that they added that. I don't think it was originally, I think it had a different ending, but they reworked it so that it could have that. And so they shot it like 3 months later, which I thought was so cool. I love it when they do that in movies, is that when the people look different, because Keanu had just shot Bill and Ted 2, and his hair was long, and you know, Swayze was, like, they look different. You can't do that, you know, normally in a film like that. And it sort of just really established that there was a time gap, and it just, I don't know. It was a great,
I love that too. Yeah.
It was a great choice. But yeah, no, there's a scene where Keanu's walking next to Bodhi. You know, he's like, thanks for helping me. And I just remember that when he was walking, like he's pigeon-toed, and it was like his elbows were stuck at his hips. And and he couldn't really turn his head, which I found out later, the reason he can't really turn his head is because he's got two vertebrae fused. in the back. And so doing that, I was able to be like, oh, that's what he is. Like
That's how you found him. You're kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so and then like doing the run and I think I should do something but you know, and you can see it too, like even in the John Wicks when he's fighting, he's like, you know, guns and head up. He's got this thing with his head that he does. Yeah. But it's also really cool too, because like he came in with Bill and Ted, which is also just a great movie. Like it's a great movie.
I watched them all a couple of years ago. Jeez, they're funny.
And so funny. So well written too, just simple. You just get it. It wasn't complicated. But you know, that was a character. It was a choice he was making to be sort of goofy and funny, and everybody just thought that's what that was him, when in fact it wasn't. And it's funny because he would get shit over the years of people being like, "Oh, he's a bad actor" and everything else like that. I never thought so, ever. But now, like especially, you know, with the John Wick, you know, the Keanu that's happened, like, dude, he's got his shit dialed in. He's dialed in now in a way like I'd never seen it before, and it's really impressive. It's really impressive. So, so you know, whenever I have a chance, I always try to you know, feed him into a conversation. That's the way to do it.
And I think a story.
Yeah, I think I'm back.
A story actually came out today or the other day that they were trying to get John Wick for this game, but they couldn't get the rights. I'm thinking, damn, that would have been cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters that we've tried to get over the years.
Yeah.
I've seen all of them, and I've recorded the taunts.
Also, you record taunts just to give them an idea of what it could look like.
Oh yeah. No, we put that in. Like they write all that, what the taunts are. So, you know, because those are just so much fun. I think, especially with Johnny, because you know it's just fun. I think I'm happy. I think that the thing I'm most proud of in this game is one of the taunts where, God, is he across from Brayden? I'm not sure who he's across from, but
what does he
he's
say?
Saying something. And I remember Dominic telling me, like, we're much closer this time. Like, you know, you're closer together, you know, when we're doing the taunts.
Yeah.
And it popped into my head, and I was like, okay, I wanted to try an alt. And he was like, okay. And that was the one where I was like,
you need a mint.
You need a breath.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was so great to be like, that's you know, that
good.
For me I was so happy when that got into it.
I think there was two of them. Yeah.
Those are really fun.
That's fantastic.
And even like with all the girls, like just the flirting factor, because he's not really a single man in this one. Him just flirting with everybody. But that's the other thing too. I was like, wow, like it didn't work. Like it failed miserably with these outworld ladies. Nobody took him up on it.
Yeah, he's divorced in this one, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. And you know,
poor bastard.
Poor bastard, looking for love in all the wrong places, literally. But it was fun too to be able to have that, to really like lean in more to like that, you know, just flirting, a lot of flirting. In this
brilliant. One. Katana, I know
didn't really work necessarily. Nobody worked in this one, but hey, you know.
Oh, he got a good reaction out of Katana in the bar scene.
Yeah.
In the
that one. Yeah. There's a little bit there. Little seeds are dropping in.
You know what I love? I love the relationship with Kenshi in this game. I thought that was really cool. Yeah.
It was cool because it's very just like, I think it's because of how they were brought into it and they were introduced. You know, they meet first and but no, like there's definitely they definitely, I think, created a cool bromance. You know, that they're definitely buddies, and I love that. That, you know, in a weird way, I think he's learning more about life from Johnny, and Johnny's learning more about life from him. But I think that created a really cool dynamic. And I didn't see that. Like I didn't sort of, because when you're working and you're doing your sessions, it's just you in the room. It's just you in the booth. There's no other actors that are with you. So you're sort of, you know, playing stuff out. And if they have recorded, you get to hear it beforehand so you can react from it. Other than what I read in the script, that I didn't necessarily see that great camaraderie between them, the way it came together, which I thought was really cool. And again, I think that's full on props to Dominic for picking the takes and directing us in the way that, you know, would work between it. Because a lot of times, like, you don't, it can be overwhelming and confusing because you're like, where am I? Like what? And he's always he's like the encyclopedia.
Throw
He's got
anything
it
out, it would be like, yeah. I know
all,
this. Yeah.
all. Because like even when I or like if I will like go, oh, what about we say this? He said, oh no, you can't because of blah 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 blah. And I'd be like, oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I knew that. I knew that. No. He's a baseline. He's a baseline. I think like a lot of credit. I think a lot more credit should be given to for Dom for how he's put these things together because he really is the writer and director of these, and he puts all that stuff together. And he's directing everybody from the regular characters to the fun ones like John Wick, which would have been awesome. Yeah, he's really good. He's like the Dave Filoni of the
of Star Wars,
of the Ed Boon universe. Yeah.
He really is.
Ed Boon's the George Lucas of Mortal Kombat, and Dominic's the he's the Dave Fillion. So he's the one that I think would eventually. I don't know. I think he should be given the torch, just like I think Filoni should at this point. I mean, I don't know if you've seen Ahsoka yet, but I was like, damn, like that's a really
I haven't
good
watched
shit.
it, but you think I should get on it? Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's the first time I think in like, I would say decades that I've watched something and I went, oh, I'm watching Star Wars. That's what Ahsoka is. It's Star Wars.
Did you feel that with Rogue One?
Yes, but in a different way.
Okay.
Like, because I think Rogue One was, again, I think it's great. And I think like it was a very heavy story.
It's still missing something, you think?
It was sort of that, I think what Rogue One did is created the gritty side, the gritty sort of adult side of Star Wars. Because I think there's the kid side, and I think like at this point you got to kind of open it up and allow like still honor those of us that had our DNA stamped when we were 7 or 8 by this. But Filoni just
gets it, doesn't he?
He gets it. He just gets. I don't even know what it is. Like I couldn't tell you. Like I don't have his brain, but like I never watched Rebels or really anything like that. I mean, I knew enough about Ahsoka just from stories, but I didn't really know the backstory of all these characters. And you can go into this not even knowing any of that stuff, and he introduces new characters, so to speak, that are fleshed out and full bodied, and that's what Star Wars always was. I mean, it wasn't the fantasy factors. Like we wanted to watch Luke, we wanted to watch Han, we loved Leia. It was the characters that really drove this, and Filoni really gets that, and he gets the bigger sort of mythology of it, and it's really fucking good. Like I think there's an episode tonight at 7. I'm like, yay! I'm fucking excited for it. But
I might wait till it's all out and binge it. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I would say jump in now because it's that.
Would you?
It's
really
good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But I don't know how many episodes they're going to do for. But at least if you jump in now, you won't have to go through like the heartache that I had to of waiting a week for the next episode to come, because they're only like 35 minutes each episode.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they're like they're pocketed. There's nothing wasted in it. But you're just like, because I wasn't like I was gonna check it out, and because I thought that what Rosario Dawson specifically did when they introduced her back in The Mandalorian, really cool. I mean, for anything, I went, wow, that's a fucking cool character. And she's just like, she's one of the coolest characters I think Star Wars has ever fucking put out there. Like,
wow,
badass,
that's awesome.
Just full on badass. It's really cool. It's cool to watch. So yeah, I'm mixed up.
Have you got a Star Wars up on top of your head there? Is that a stormtrooper, or am I?
Oh no,
it's
I like
can't
my.
Quite see.
I have like nerd stuff, and
no Star Wars stuff though.
No, there's nothing up here that's Star Wars.
Okay. That's Wolverine. I'm just trying to. It's a little bit blurry. That's Wolverine.
Yeah,
right?
That's Wolverine.
Yeah.
This is my if I was ever lucky enough to have a chance to play in the Marvel universe,
one of those,
because I write and direct as well, and
yeah,
I would love to have the X-Men.
Yeah,
but that for me was always that for me was like that's the X-Men that I grew up with, was like sort of this one.
Yeah.
And let me see if I get a clean shot of them. So,
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So the thing is that they're
That's
not like
sick. Yeah.
they're not an action pose. Like they're just sort of chilling. You know, they're like, which for me was always,
That's cool.
That was the X-Men. That was the X-Men that I always loved growing up, because I was raised on Marvel Comics, and for me the X-Men were just like, they were always so fucking good. Like, they kicked everybody's ass. That there was a lot of times where like the bad guy would be doing stuff, and then they turn a corner, and then they were just sort of hanging out. You know, Wolverine would be like smoking a cigar, just being like, yeah, so you might want to stop now. And like there was a lot of times where they'd just be like, oh fuck, yeah, I'm done, because they knew they would just get their asses kicked, and they were like, if they didn't, they'd be like, all right, cool, and they just lean into it then and just like beat the shit out of everybody.
So you would have what did you think of Logan? Because to me that was the best X-Men film of all time, but it is a different flavor.
It was excellent. Yeah, it's a different flavor, and I think like, no, I thought it was really well done. I think especially as sort of a send off, even though it turned out to not be a send off, because
he's coming back.
Jackson's coming back. But I actually worked with James Mangold before.
You did?
Just in a commercial. I've done a lot of commercial work over the years, and had a chance to work with some like really awesome people doing that.
What was it like?
I did a great, hugely cool. You know, because commercials too, you come in, it's very impersonal. You kind of like just come in and you do your thing and you leave. It's not like that creative or anything else like that, or you don't really get to know people because it's usually a day. And there's just, it's so specifically about hitting that storyboard. You know, once you get that shot, you move on to the next one. And he was just super cool. He came right up and was like, hey, Andrew, like, so happy to have you here. And like, you know, if you have any questions or ideas, just let me know. And like, you know, we're gonna have fun and do our thing. He was just super loose and like really had,
that's cool.
really had a love for, I think he truly has a love for actors and acting. And that's a cute, cool thing to have. I think I blurred this.
What was the commercial?
It's some kind of tech thing. I don't know. I'm sorry. It's bad.
No, you've done a few.
Anyways, but I think James is really talented. So I thought what he did with Logan, again, for me, I agree. Like that's the most Wolverine I've seen in a movie. It was definitely that version. And I think part of that has to do with the fact that, you know, it's rated R. Yeah, that was always like a tough one for me, because I was like, Wolverine is a brute, man. Like, he is a brute, and he has fucking blades that he chops people up with. So, you know, it's very hard to get that across, you know, when you're playing in the PG-13 world. So I think
exactly.
Playing in the R world, I think really was a benefit to Mangold on making that one. And I think again with Deadpool, Sean Levy's doing this one, and you know, even though Disney picked it up, they're like, no, it's going to still be R, and because you can't really, I don't think you can do Ryan's Deadpool without that. And so I think it's going to be, I think that'll be a really nice little extra piece on it before we get whatever our new team is. But yeah, this is just, I had this in my hand. It was just, I thought this was cool.
What is that?
I don't know. It's like a helmet.
Is that Tron? That's not Tron, is it?
No, it's not. It just was, came up somewhere, and I was like, that's cool. Dumb. I just buy cool shit.
It actually looks like the villains in Starfield, which you're in, I know.
Yeah, it does a little bit. Yeah. So, I mean, like I, you know, again, I'm the nerd runs deep, and I'm a huge sci-fi fan. So, you know, I love when I just see things that are cool, because I always want to build something around it and, you know, try to create something cool with it. So, but Starfield, that's kind of, it's kind of got some, there's a little bit of the way it's the plastic's laid. You can't really see it, but it's also got a little bit of a Mark I feel to it, a little bit of Iron Man going on in there. So I don't know. No, I'm spending my money on dumb nerdy shit. So.
I love it, man.
Thank God my wife doesn't hate me for spending my money on that.
Shout out to your wife. Happy birthday for the other day.
Thank you. I'll let her know.
From Dan. All right, let's get to a few. I had a lot of fan questions, so we'll get to some of them. First one is from Fanstorm. Do you know that you are the best Johnny Cage voice to ever exist, Andrew?
I'm just gonna be honest here. I sent her money.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
I sent some cash. I said, say some nice shit. But
so you must have sent thousands of people money. You must have a lot of money.
A lot. You see me like I'm very, I can multitask. Like underneath here, I've just been out and just sending tweets and like where you can't see it. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
What was it like to turn a minor character into one of the best characters, the most fleshed out in the series?
Oh, well, I can't take credit. I can't take full credit for it. The writing and it's the editing and it's the mocap and it's all
there's
the
so many people involved.
There's so many levels that sort of make him come together. You know, I think I'm just happy that I was able to throw a little piece in there, piece in the mix, put a little sprinkling on top. He's a sprinkle.
I don't know about that. I think you're more than a sprinkle. Come on.
Well, no, it's cool. It's hugely flattering and very, very grateful for it. Very, very grateful. Again, like I've said, like, you know, my whole goal in life is just to try to do work that gives people a good time. And it's just really awesome that people have enjoyed Johnny this much. It's just cool.
From Angel K, Andrew had a small role on Saved by the Bell in the 90s. What do you remember from that, Andrew?
All of it. I mean, it was Saved by the Bell. Come on.
I know. Shit.
No, it was great. It was great. Great cast. Everybody was really awesome. I think it was like one of my first like on-camera roles ever in Hollywood.
Shit, that's not a bad gig to get.
Yeah, it's not a bad gig to get. And yeah, it was super fun. Super fun. You know, I mean, you go into the senior prom, that doesn't happen very often. So it's cool. It's funny, like it's just like so long ago. It's just like, wow, it's amazing that certain things have, you know, they last that long, that they still have, you know, a place in it all.
I thought I did research, but this guy, he's gone.
Oh, you'll be able to cut. You can find a clip of him in YouTube. You can cut right to it. Yeah. But it was fun. It was fun. It was a good time.
What were your inspirations for Johnny Cage, if you had any, from Utro?
Any inspirations? You know, I didn't sort of craft them around anybody. Like I wanted to make sure when I started on X that I was honoring the sort of the mythology and the timeline of who the character was. But no, I think it was really something that I think we just found him. Like me and Dom just found him pretty early on. And again, it was really weird. Like I can't explain it. It was just sort of like every once in a while you read a character and you just get him. And like I kind of got him. And so and I think Dom agreed and we just sort of leaned into that. And I think that's, you know, that gave us an opportunity to sort of craft something really cool. So it really wasn't based on anything other than just really following our instincts on who this guy should be and then having fun.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Yeah. One Jedi Boy, what was your favorite Johnny line you've ever done?
It's so hard. It's so hard. Like I don't even remember something. Sometimes people will say them and go like, "Oh." I always go back to when we fought against the Xenomorph. There's a line where Johnny goes, "You know, your head looks like a dildo."
That was yours, wasn't it? Yeah.
That was an improv. I didn't even know they were recording. Like I don't even remember how they got that, but
and they made it in. Yeah.
Like it just popped in my head. I was like, yeah, just because that's what's great about Johnny is Johnny can say something like that. Like not many people can say something like that and make it work. And I just thought that was really funny. And I literally had forgotten about it until I saw it. I was like, oh my God. Yeah. Remember that? Like we worked it. So yeah, that's definitely up there.
Can't imagine Liu Kang saying that for some reason.
No. I mean, I think that's what Johnny is. He's the balance. He's the balance in it. To give you a giggle between all the drama and the chaos.
If you had to voice another character in MK, not Johnny Cage, who do you think you'd be best suited for? From Zesto Lamentovi. I've butchered the name, but yeah. Maybe you could do Reptile, maybe?
Yeah, Reptile would be fun. I mean, like I think that everybody they've got, I would preface this by saying I think they've got great people doing all these. I don't know. Maybe some alternate universe version of Goro would be fun. I think I'd dig that.
Okay.
I think I could do something fun with him.
You got a voice like that ready to go?
Well, yeah, but you wouldn't be able to. This would be the end of the conversation because I'd blow out my voice. You got something in there, deep and dark. That would be fun. I think it would be fun to just play around with. It'd be fun. What we could do with having 4 arms, I think playing around with that would be kind of fun. Yeah, yeah, it'd be fun.
What are the biggest similarities between you and Johnny Cage from Lance?
Very, very little. If I had too many similarities between Johnny, I would not be married. Maybe just our sense of humor. Like you know, I think there's a certain. I don't take life that seriously. Which I don't.
Do you have $1 million mansion?
No, I don't have $1 million mansion.
He's got a nice mansion, man.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
But honestly, my mansion would really truly look more like a Mojo Dojo Casa house. Like that's what my mansion would look like.
What are your other favorite games, Andrew, if you've got any?
Ooh, other favorite
characters in gaming from
Well,
Theory?
I mean, like I got to play Hudson in Alien Colonial Marines. And that was sort of a fanboy, like, moment. Because I'd always done Hudson, I just, it was always, because Bill Paxton's just so brilliant in that. I just would throw those lines out all the time. Call from my agent that they were looking, so I laid down the tracks. And I think they were negotiating with Bill Paxton at the time to just do it. And what I was told afterwards is that my impression of Bill as
was better than Bill
Hudson. No, it sounded more like the game, like the actual movie than Bill did at the time. So I actually sounded a little. I was actually a little bit better than he was, and I was like, what? So they allowed me to do it, and I was just like, that was just such a fun day. Like I was.
Imagine losing a role to someone who does a better you than you.
Be like, yes, well done. No, that was definitely a highlight. Doing Neo is really cool too. But Paxton be able to just oh man, there's some real pretty shit now, just like all that stuff all day long. It was just like in it, like, all right, let's just go. It was just fun. I was enjoying the hell out of it all day long. So yeah, those are definitely highlights.
You're not a gamer, are you?
Yeah, that's just not crazy.
Not crazy.
I'm definitely the ADD guy. So, I'm hyper focused when I do things. So when I game, like 8 hours will pass, and I think like 30 minutes have passed. So I still game like when I'm with friends or out away from my house. But I kind of told my wife, I was like, all right, I won't game now. Like I'll hold off. And so just enjoy me now, because when I retire, like I'm getting fucking fat. I'm gonna get the sickest system, a chair. I'm gonna live in that fuck. I'm smell bad, and I'm gonna game all the time. So, and she was like, "All right, cool, you got it." So, yeah, I will be definitely couple of decades from now.
What's the last game you sort of sunk many hours into? Can you recall what that would be?
I think it was Call of Duty.
Oh yeah,
I think it was Call of Duty. It was the last one that I remember doing. I was playing with my son, and like it's funny because like it had been a while, so like because it's like a shorthand when you're gaming, like it's a skill set.
Yeah,
and I was not up to par. Like I should have practiced before I went in, because he'd be like, "All right, Dad," and I'd run in and I would just be in a corner, and I would get shot. It was awful.
Yeah.
At least for the first 30 minutes, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm good now. But that was the last one I played. But I like finding a spot and just waiting.
Is that your genre, shooters?
No, I like shooters.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, like I enjoy all of it. I'm not big on puzzle solving. You know, I don't think I'm very good. Like, don't ever put me in like a escape room. Like, don't pick me. You'll die. You'll die in an escape room. Like, it's not good.
You won't escape. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, and again, like I like, you know, weirdly, but like I do play Mortal Kombat and always as Johnny, and that's always a hell of a lot of fun. So
yeah,
I think once I get some of his moves down a little bit closer, I might do a Twitch channel as Johnny and
nice,
and play with some folks. So that would be fun. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that will be fun.
But yeah, but I like expansive stuff too. I think like I really love what they did with StarCraft, like space and shit like that. Fallen Jedi. My son
Jedi
plays
Fallen
that a
Order.
lot.
Oh yeah, it's a great game. Yeah,
great game. So my son's more of the heavy gamer.
How old's your son?
Like, my eldest is 24, and then I have twins that are 22.
Oh wow!
So they're all adults now. So yeah, I was very young when I had kids.
Last one from the fans. What did you think of the MK movie? And you're looking forward to the second one with Karl Urban?
I think they did a great job. I enjoyed it a lot. A part of me was kind of, initially I was like, why didn't they put Johnny in? You know, but I also get it too, because Johnny's just such a big character. Like, you know, you throw Johnny in anywhere and the room's going to change. And I think, like, you know, I think it was really cool that the creatives made a choice to introduce that newer character. And I think it's going to be really cool that to see Johnny come in the second one. And I think Karl will do an awesome job. I think he's a great choice. I do. Like, if you wonder if he's a good choice or not, and you haven't seen The Boys, watch The Boys. There, he's just.
I think it's the best show currently on.
Oh, yeah. Outstanding.
Yeah.
But no, I think Karl's a great choice, and I wish him like great luck and to stick his teeth into it and have fun. And, you know, again, I was really happy that they picked somebody too who knew comedy and had timing. And you know, Karl's always been, you know, he's known how to deliver a line and sprinkle comedy in everything he's ever done. And I think you need that for Johnny. So I think it'll be great. I look forward to watching it. And hopefully it'll be even more successful than the first one, and continue growing. Then eventually we'll get like the multiverse, you know, maybe in 3, and you know, then we can have some characters from the game show up.
It'd be cool if he can show up in the next game as you know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah,
I would be kind of shocked if he wouldn't show up in the next game.
Yeah. With you and go back and forth. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Oh, well, I just think about that too, because I know that Karl is he's sharp. I mean, he's sharp. He's a comedy. He whips quickly. Same as me. Like, it'd be so cool if they could find some way to like have an alternate Johnny and you know, the Karl Johnny meet, just to like have
cool.
that play, like with him doing a scene as us both as different versions of Johnny. That would be hilarious, and it would be super fun. Like, we would have a really good time. That would be awesome. So maybe we'll see.
Hey, thank you for taking up some time today, man. We really appreciate it.
Hey, Dan, thank you for inviting me and choosing to do this early in the morning instead of like normally in the afternoon. I'm glad I didn't have to wake up at like, you know, 3 a.m. in the morning and be like, but yeah, no, it's great. And yeah, I got a soft spot for all the Aussies out there. everyone I've met has tended to be really pretty fucking cool. So I don't know what y'all are drinking there, but it's working. So yeah, thank you for
Thank you,
having me,
man.
and
Thank you.
everybody who tuned in and enjoying this. This was really fun, and that's even yeah. And I'm really glad we got to do it on the actual day that
Yeah, the
MK
day it comes
has
out. Yeah.
dropped. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. We'll
Is
have
there
to circle
anything you
back
want to
later.
say to the fans?
Oh, yeah, sure. To the Mortal Kombat fans, enjoy the fuck out of this week and this weekend. You're about to have a good time. And if you're enjoying stuff and you're having a good time, talk about it. You know, put it out there. We love hearing that you're digging stuff and what you like or what you don't like. So, yeah, for the fans out there, yeah, just have a good time, and I hope I served Johnny well for you on this one.
You put a lot into it.
You
Yeah.
I put a lot into it, and you know, ultimately, I mean, if you're a Johnny fan, you got stellar taste. So you're just better than everybody else. So, you know, I need to just honor that and continue to make Johnny awesome for you, because I definitely like doing that. That was very Keanu. Awesome for you. All right. No, but just again, like, you know, so thankful for the love and people share and talking and reaching out. I really think I do my best to sort of connect with everybody.
Yeah. Follow Andrew,
and,
guys. What's your Twitter and Insta?
What is it? X now? My
X. Yeah.
Is they're both the same. It's at Andrew S. Bowen. So middle
Andrew
initial
S. Bowen.
S.
Beautiful.
I couldn't get Andrew Bowen. There's some other Andrew Bowen out there.
And are you on TikTok?
And killed him yet. So
yeah, you got to get him. Yeah.
Oh, am I on TikTok? Yeah, my TikTok is very it's my
what?
My dorky broadside. Definitely I express that
Okay.
on my TikTok. It's been really it's something. It's something.
A passion project, would you call it?
Yeah, it's called I think it's the same thing. It's Andrew S. Bowen. It's all at
Beautiful.
Andrew S. Bowen.
Make it easy for me, yeah.
Superstar, sexy. It's
That's
easy
what
to
it
remember.
means. Okay. Andrew Sexy Bowen. Yep.
Andrew Sexy Bowen. There you go. And I think on TikTok, it's under my name, but it's also called Bobo's Funtopia. What I named the channel,
okay,
which is Bobo's Funtopia. I don't know what that means, but I created it. So yep, I'm on there, and yeah, reach out and yeah, follow and communicate and
I can't imagine if you're sorry, I can't imagine if your Twitter handle was that Bobo's. Imagine if that was your actual.
Yeah, that would have been smart. I'll have to do that next on the next one that comes out. I think I'll have to do that. Just be Bobo's Funtopia. Which
thank you, man.
It describes what my TikTok account is like. Bobo's Funtopia is, yeah, I think it fits it rather perfectly. Yes, the dork in me is in full display over there.
Thank you, man. Is there anything? Are you doing any signings or anything you want to plug as well?
I think I'm going to be doing a Streamily sometime soon, and I'll let people know about that. There might be some stuff down the road,
cool,
but nothing that's sort of locked in at this point.
And possibly a stream or two,
yeah, possibly a stream or two. But again, follow me on my stuff, and you know, whenever I'm doing stuff, I always make sure people know, because I love meeting fans and interacting with. It's just the best, you know. Again, you know, I'm super honored that I have been a part of creating a character that people love, and again, kind of like all the Aussies, most of the Johnny fans tend to be really cool and we have great conversations. So, you know, I dig it. I dig it when people reach out. So don't ever be afraid to, because I'm not a dick like Johnny. I'm, you know, well, earlier Johnny.
You're a bit more approachable, yeah.
I'm a bit more approachable, probably, yeah.
Before I let you go, can Johnny say something to Dan to round this one out?
Sure. Dan, I know it's going to take a little while for you to process all the wow that you took in this afternoon, spending time with me. But just breathe into it. It'll come around. You'll feel better. And I don't spend time with that many people out there in the world. And so if you slide into that spot, it means you got something special. So as I've called some pretty ladies in Outworld, you're pretty dripalicious yourself. So you keep that up and keep going. All right.
Thank you, Andrew. Oh, we
Sure.
appreciate it, man.